Greetings and blessed Advent. Pastor Laura here for our final midweek Advent reflection. I am one day early for our midweek reflections, but I'm actually one day late for part of what I wanted to talk about. Yesterday, Monday, December 21st, was the winter solstice, the longest night of the year. It's been a tradition in a lot of churches recently to have a worship service on that night or around that time, sometimes called the longest night service. It's also called Quiet Christmas or even Blue Christmas. And this is a service that seeks to celebrate the Christmas season in a quieter way, recognizing that all of the festivities and everything that goes into Christmas Eve at a church can be difficult for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Maybe they are grieving the loss of a loved one, maybe they're dealing with depression or another mental illness. But for whatever reason, all of the extra trappings of a Christmas Eve service, from brass and children's choirs and Christmas pageants, can just be too much. It's too difficult, reminds people of what they're not feeling or what they feel like they're missing. And so this tradition of a longest night service has kind of been born in recent years, where we celebrate the mystery and the miracle of the incarnation, just without a lot of the fanfare. And it can be, Christmas time can be a really hard time if you are not feeling joyful. There's, the ads on TV, everything about the season is telling you that you should be feeling one way. And if you're not feeling that inside, it can make it extra difficult. And I think this year, especially, more of us might be in that group who is struggling to kind of feel the joy, the happiness, the expectation that we want to associate with Christmas. And if we're not feeling that, we can feel let down. We feel maybe like there's something wrong with us, or we're not doing the right things. We have to try harder. And the longest night service is there to remind us that no, in fact, God is present in the darkness as well as in the light. The longest night, it's the darkest night of the year, the darkest day of the year. There's the least amount of sunlight. And it does tie into a lot of our Christian traditions are kind of influenced by the seasons, at least the seasons in the Northern Hemisphere. That as we celebrate Advent, we have increasing darkness as we go through the weeks of Advent, as we light our candles. But then Christmas falls right around that winter solstice, when we have the return of the sun. Can be a play on words, the return of the physical sun, the return of Jesus. We celebrate his arrival, and the arrival of the light that shines in the darkness. And so, just to paraphrase Barbara Brown Taylor, who's a professor of preaching, she says, God does some of God's best work in the darkness. That it is in this dark season that we celebrate the arrival of Christ, that it is in the darkness that creation happens, that it is in the dark of the tomb that the resurrection happens. So if you are feeling this Christmas like you are kind of in the darkness and you're not feeling maybe the joy of the season so much, know that that's okay. That our final word for Advent, as we go through these 4 weeks, is love. And as we celebrate the incarnation, God with us, we celebrate God's love with us at all times and in all places and whatever situation you find yourself in. And so this year, as we're not able to gather together, if you are not feeling so much the joy of Christmas, it is my prayer that you feel the love and that you feel God's presence with you, because that really is just the blessedness of the incarnation, that no matter where we are, no matter how we are gathered, God is with us. So have a blessed next 2 days of Advent and a Merry Christmas.